What up, YouTube? I'm Darren, and I'm here to help you make a better D&D game and help you if you are writing rule sets to keep it simple. Yeah, my channel is Never Forged. It's mostly me playing Skyrim, but I also do D&D videos, and that's what I get actual subscribers for. So here's another one, I guess. So anyway, recently I've seen two videos. I actually commented on part of one of them, DM Lair's 3 things about the 1D&D expert classes. He got the first one really, really wrong, and I wanted to get that out before the survey showed up. But he did praise the rule I'm about to talk about. Then, the other day, and I'm going to put a link in the doobly-doo, and hopefully there'll be a card above my head right now. Hopefully. Or else I'm doing this for no reason. Blocking my face with my hands. Probably not an okay thing to do recording-wise. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this. I do know I stand up. I have legs. Anyway, so he wrote it. Wrote. He made a video on the red flag of the influence action. So we got one guy praising it, one guy red flagging it. Why? Well, first let's talk about it briefly. So the influence action. Why is it a red flag? Because of terrible, terrible, terrible social ideas that players get into their head about how social skills work in D&D. They're like, oh, I can just persuade somebody of something? Hey, king. Yes? Give me your kingdom! What? What is wrong with you? I got a nat 20! 37 persuasion! I'm the new king! It's like, no, that's not going to happen. That's not how this works. If you tried that in one of my games, if you walked up to a king, who generally are people that were teenagers that gained power really, really early and are generally, I mean, was it Louis XIV, I think, who was just like, après moi le déluge, or after me comes the flood. They did not care about anybody else other than themselves. And you're like, give me your kingdom. You're probably going to get killed. You are going to get executed by the state because you're that guy. Best case scenario, if you rolled that nat 20, is you're going to get offered a job as court jester because he thinks you're funny. That is the best outcome of that situation. It is not going to end well for you. You cannot just tell a king to give me your kingdom. But the wording of the influence action, as DM Bob points out, Bob Worldbuilder, is a little problematic and is going to cause problems. Players think that they can do things that they can't do. And that's going to be an issue. But DM Luke praised one part of it that Bob didn't talk about. And if you look, it's that word in brackets, action. It's an action now. Instead of just BS that you try to pull off in the middle of combat anyway, while you're swinging a sword, casting spells, doing this other thing, you're like, oh, by the way, let's, I would like to manipulate you into something. It's weird. Now it's an action, so it's codified. But if we're going to codify it as an action, we have to make it make sense. It's racking my brain. Because as Bob Worldbuilder said in his awesome video, this is going to end up in the rules. It's in the rules. They're playtesting this right now. Some version of this is in the rules. The influence action is going to be in the rules, or some derivative thereof. How would this work? And I was racking my brain. What could you possibly influence somebody to do in the middle of combat? Like, swords are swinging, arrows are flying, things are exploding because of magic. What could I possibly do to convince you of something in 6 seconds? What could you possibly convince anybody to do in 6 seconds? And I thought of it. There's only one thing you can really do socially in the middle of a combat, and that's convince the people to stop fighting. It's the only thing I could think of. Convince people to stop fighting. And I came up with 2 ways to do it based off of 2 out of the 3 skills, because I figured the third skill, which is a completely valid skill to be using in this case, by the way, you would just be using to pretend to do one of the other 2. That's how deception works. So I came up with it. And I have a really good name. I'm really, really, really confident on the first one. The second one has the worst name on the planet, but there we go. All right, you ready for this? Influence. Parlay Action. Not Parler, the weird alt-right Twitter that Amazon noped out of. Not that. It's parlay. Pronounced parlay, like the French. Benches of mayonnaise. Great singing voices, though. That's a reference to Parts of the Caribbean, which was one of the influences for me thinking of this, because He literally is just like, parlay! And then all of a sudden, okay, combat stops, we get to talk. Oh, I get to go talk to your captain now. It's a thing. It's a thing you might want to do. If your players want to turn a combat into from the combat pillar and bring it into the social pillar, now here's a way to do it. So I think this might be useful in that regard. So let's kind of read through it. A lot of it is going to be very familiar language if you've read the 1D&D expert classes document, because I literally just cribbed it from there because I'm trying to rewrite it for them. So there you go. Chris Perkins, if you're watching this, you can put this in your next document. You don't even have to credit me. It's all good. I mean, please credit me if you can, because that would be cool. And I'll claim it if I ever apply to WotC again. Not that I will, but I'm a data scientist or business intelligence engineer now, so I probably make more money than you guys are willing to pay. But, if I ever try to become a game designer again, I'll totally claim it if you use it. But other than that, go for it. All right, with the parlay action, you can convince a hostile enemy to stop attacking in order to engage in some sort of social interaction. Perfect. This action only be used in creatures controlled by the DM as mind control. Of course, that is essentially the same line as the expert class, except or impossible for the creature. Now that I'm going to just give a very brief explanation on. Let's say you're in the basement of Castle Ravenloft. You see zombies coming towards you. You're like, all right, guys, I got this. Parlay, let's talk. The zombies are going to go and keep coming at you because that's what zombies do, right? Zombies, constructs, a lot of these things, mindless undead skeletons, that kind of thing, they don't talk. They don't chat. They're not part of the social pillar. They're just there to try to kill you. That's how that works. You can't parlay with a trap, can't parlay with a skeleton. Like, it's just not the way that this works. But if it's a goblin or something like that, then this stuff applies, and that's where this comes in. So that's why it's impossible for the creature. When you take the parlay action, either roleplay how your character interacts with the creature, describe your creature's behavior, focus on any reasons given as to why NPCs should call off combat. Almost identical language to the expert thing, except I'm specifically saying call off combat. If the interaction is especially suited to the creature's desires and outlook, the DM might grant advantage to your subsequent check. Similarly, if the interaction is particularly irksome to the creature, the DM may impose disadvantage on the check. I mean, that makes sense. Again, cribbed their language directly, but it makes sense. All right, the DM determines that the parlay action is possible to make a charisma, animal handling, deception, or persuasion check. With animal handling being reserved for beasts and monstrosities, and deception also needing to overcome the highest passive insight of the NPCs. That's new language for me. So the idea is that you can use persuasion to stop combat in certain circumstances. You can use intimidation to stop combat in other circumstances. You can use deception in both sets of circumstances, but if the guy is particularly insightful, he's going to know that you're full of it, essentially. It'd be like, it's like, yeah, we're with OSHA. We're here to check on railings. We heard that there's no railings. There's a lot of bottomless pits. I just suddenly went Star Wars with it, but bear with me. And you roll, and it's like, yeah, you're not with OSHA. That's not even a thing. Like, we're gonna kill you now. Like, it's just not gonna work. But maybe it will work. You could be like, hey, the Overlord sent me. I'm here to do an audit of your banditing gold because you got to give 5% to the Overlord. It's a thing. Oh, you didn't know about the 5%? Oh, interesting. All right. I'm going to note that down for the Overlord. He's scrying this whole thing, by the way, so he's hearing this whole conversation. I mean, he might not be in the room. He might have gone out to grab a beer, but, he is scrying this, so just let you know. That could work, depending on the circumstance and the situation. Up to the DM. But you're lying, so they have a chance to use their insight. So it's a little harder to use deception in these cases, but deception becomes more versatile, so it kind of balances, I think. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Leave it in the comments. If the DM determines, okay, yeah, read that. If the check is successful, the NPCs will stop attacking, talk to the PCs, but any hostile action made by the players or failed social interaction may result in combat resuming. So if the thief is just like, nah, I'm gonna kill him, then you just go right back into combat. Maybe you reroll initiative. It's up to you. And if they mess up the social interactions or or they get caught in their lie, they might just get attacked. Depends on why the creatures were fighting in the first place. So it kind of goes into that. All right. This action has already succeeded once, and the player characters were aggressors that resumed combat. The action automatically fails. You can't just be like, no, guys, seriously, we're not going to try to kill you. We just want to talk to your boss. Yeah, the last time you said that, you stabbed John. Like, this is not going to be okay. So that doesn't work either. All right, the DCs. These were based off of the DCs from the original document. If I had to make up my own DCs, I'd probably up the 10 to a 12. That would just be me. But I'm using the DCs from the original document just to keep things as simple as possible, I would up this to a 12 personally. But yet I wrote this and I didn't. So there you go. All right, player characters, the aggressors, or one or more NPCs have been killed or incapacitated. DC 20. A lot harder to be like, no, we're peaceful. It's cool, guys. When I just murdered one of you, like it's just you're not gonna buy it. NPCs are the aggressors. So like if I was walking through a dungeon and kobolds started attacking me, and I'm like, whoa, guys, I just want to talk to your leader. It's cool. I just want to talk to the dragon. Got some questions about, I got a gem for him. It's cool. Like, can I just talk to your boss? Much more likely to be the case when you're not the aggressor, right? If I'm attacking you and then I want to talk to your boss, it's a little different than if you attacked me and I'm like, whoa, can we just chill? Can we talk? You're much more likely to say yes if you're the aggressor, just because, like, all right, whatever. Depends on why you attacked, of course, but that's a whole other story. Or if one or more player characters have been killed or incapacitated, even if revived, and no NPC has been killed or incapacitated. So you guys have the upper hand. We're not really a threat to you. Can we talk? To me, that seems reasonable. There might be arguments for not doing it that way. Might be arguments for, persuasion from a position of strength. But when you see the next action, you might see why I did it this way. The next action makes a little bit more sense with those DCs, as we'll see. But the next action has a terrible name. Just like this one might be confused for an alt-right Twitter, the next one might be confused for cattle. It is the cow action, because intimidation was already what the skill's called. I'm cowing you into not fighting. That's where I got the name from. But yeah, it's a terrible name. If you guys come up with a better name in the comments, please do. Oh my god, please do. This is the worst name ever. I came up with this in a day. I was like, I got nothing, and I went, all right, synonyms, intimidate. Well, that's helpful. It's like the one word I can't use. All right. Cow action, you can try to intimidate a hostile enemy to stop attacking in order to engage in some sort of social interaction. Blah, 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 blah. Same first paragraph, except it's intimidate instead of persuade. When you take the cow action, these roleplayer characters' reactions describe your character's behavior, focusing on reasons given as to why the NPC should fear to continue combat. If the player... Ooh, double I there. Huh, I just noticed that now. Great. Don't have time to redo it. If the player character is one or more size categories larger than the NPC, or any of the player characters use a spell of a higher level than any of the NPCs can cast, the DM may grant you advantage on the roll. If the largest NPC is one or more size categories larger than the player character, the DM may impose disadvantage on the roll. Basically comes into two scenarios. If you're dealing with goblins, they're like, dude, you're bigger than me. I'm scared, right? Or if I just threw a fireball and you're like, I'm an apprentice wizard. I know what fireball is. But I know that the best I can do is Melf's arrow. So yeah, that's kind of scary. And I have no reason to believe that you are tapped out now. So yeah, you're more powerful than me. Or you cast, Thaumaturgy. Now, if I'm a wizard, I probably know what Thaumaturgy is. Like, I know Prestidigitation, I know Thaumaturgy. I know things, right? Like, I'm a wizard. I know these things. I'm not going to be scared or more scared of you because of it. But if I'm a goblin and you cast Thaumaturgy, that's a higher level spell than I can cast. I can't cast anything. And I'm going to be like, oh, this dude's magic. Guys, this guy's magic. Let's not. We can't. He's magic. So it's scary. So magic is scary. Being bigger is scary. Also, if you look at the DCs, having just killed one of your friends is scary, but we'll get there. If checks successful, the NPCs will stop attacking out of fear of the PCs, but any hostile action made by the players or failed social interaction may result in combat resuming. Basically, I've convinced you to not fight me. And again, the deception also needs to overcome the highest passive insight of the NPCs, because you'd be like, did I fire 6 bullets or 5? Do you feel lucky, punk? Yeah, you fired 6. Am I the only one that counts these things? Just kill him. So, that's kind of the flip on that as well. And yeah, trying to bluff your way out of combat, because, say there's only 2 of you, a rogue and a paladin. I've done this in 2nd edition, and the paladin goes down. I have BS'd with goblins until the poison wore off, the unconsciousness poison wore off, and the paladin just killed them. And I was like, yeah. And it was fun. And I wanted to bring that experience. Of course, that I think was be more the persuade than the intimidate, because I wasn't trying to be intimidating. I was just like, so guys, let's talk. So yeah, you guys go out here often? But that's more the persuade. But either way, deception can work in both cases. I can pretend that, oh yeah, no, I've got a lot more fireball where that came from. It wasn't a scroll, and I'm not a rogue, I swear. And that can work. Or of course, yeah, So deception works for either type. I came up with. All right, circumstances. It's kind of the opposite flip from the persuasion. NPCs are the aggressors, or one or more player characters have been killed or incapacitated, even if revived, and no NPCs have been killed or incapacitated. So you attack me and took out one or more of my friends. You're going to be really hard to intimidate at that point. Player characters are the aggressors, or one or more NPCs have been killed or incapacitated. I was minding my own business. You guys just attacked me and said, "Roar! Stand down!" Be like, "Whoa, all right, guy. I was just like watching scorpions fight on a table and betting with my friends. Like, all right, let's like all right, we're cool." Or well, you just killed Johnny. You might kill me next. Yeah, no, I'm gonna just step back. And then of course the bluff aspect works on both of these things. Okay, so that's the idea. That's the main idea. Let me go back to this screen now. Why though? And again, it's to allow players to kind of either BS their way through something or convince the NPCs to stop fighting. Basically, create some sort of transition from the combat pillar to the social pillar. If your players really want social interaction, this gives them a way to do it. If you're going to put an influence as an action in the game, it needs to make sense. It needs to be something that's reasonable to do in 6 seconds during a fight. It needs to be something that, we can do. I guess there's only 2 reasons. I went with 3, and so I trapped myself into a linguistical thing there. So that's fun. Anyway, if you can come up with any other ways for the influence action to make sense in combat with 6 seconds, like you're being mugged. You see a goblin. He's mugging you. What could you possibly say in that situation that would have any effect whatsoever? If you can come up with other ideas besides parlay or hopefully something better than the name cow, or just a better name for cow. It's not okay. Leave in the comments below. Like, subscribe. Subscribe should be here. I'm going to have videos over here covering up my screen in a second. Like and subscribe. Watch some other videos. And hit the bell if you want updates or you want to know when I'm live streaming. I live stream basically twice a day during the week because I exercise on dodge the wrong direction on that guy. And yeah, so I'm shooting bows, running around, playing Skyrim, and I would not mind talking about D&D, especially if I'm running from point A to point B. It would give me something to do. I'm usually just talking to myself, kind of like I'm doing now, but even weirder. Because this, I can at least 7 or 8 people are gonna watch this. Nobody watches my live streams. Like 1 person watches my live streams for like 2 seconds. I'm talking to myself. I have no idea what I said in those things. Someone's gonna quote me from something I said like 3 weeks ago, and I'm have no idea. But anyway, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you when I'm live streaming, or I'll see you in my next D&D video. Talk to y'all later.